everything was just gonna implode if I carried on drinking. There was absolutely no fucking way I would have survived or handled it or managed it if I'd have carried on drinking.
Hey guys, welcome back to After Hours, episode 79, season 4. This week, I'm talking to someone whose book I absolutely smashed in the week before we recorded, because once it started, I genuinely couldn't put it down. I normally listen to books on Audible. Paul's Audible version isn't out until August, so I ordered the book week past Thursday when it came out, or Tuesday, whatever it was, and it arrived last Monday, a week ago today. And I recorded the episode with him on Thursday. So I'm not trying to big myself up, but I don't read a lot. I listen to Audible, so I absolutely could not put this book down once I got started. So if you haven't got your copy yet, the link is in the show notes, so just go and get it now. Paul Drayton's the author of Ride or Die Trying. And before I say anything else, just go and buy it. From an early age, growing up in Sunderland, Paul had the odd taste and tipple from a chocolate liqueur to trying some Shinzano at a party when he was very young, but he didn't start having sessions until later. You know, his kind of teen years were essentially, you know, coming out as being gay in, you know, the kind of late 80s, early 90s, well, even earlier than that. He kind of, I suppose, was maybe keeping himself safe, whatnot, but also, you know, he would be the designated driver. You know, he would go to kind of bars and things like that with some of his friends, and as long as he had Erasure on the CD deck in the car, then, you know, he was happy. So he then he gave up his kind of life in Sunderland and moved to London, started at the Drama Centre, and he brushed, you know, paths with the likes of Tom Hardy, Russell Brand, started working in trendy bars and managing the madness with a few cheeky lines and Bloody Marys for the come down. Then the marriage to one of the most famous faces in the UK, if not the world. Paul put his life on hold in order to help his ex build his brand and fame. And with regards to a few unfortunate circumstances, led to his heavy drinking turning from functioning to dependent. In the marriage breakdown and one after another rock bottoms, Paul kept on digging into that rock bottom. So this is a powerful listen, guys. Paul is a great man, and you know, I just enjoyed having a chat with him. So sit back, listen for the similarities and not the differences. See you at the end, guys. Cheers. Paul, welcome to After Hours, man. How are you doing today?
I'm very well. A little bit claggy.
Yeah, it's pretty hot. I mean, you guys will be getting a lot worse than us, but do you know what? I'm not complaining. I'm a gardener and I love it better than the rain and the snow and the wind and all that. But
absolutely.
Yeah. But we're British. We've got to complain a little bit, you know.
I feel like I'm a jelly baby that's been licked and put back into the packet.
yeah.
There's all no in the escape packet. From it, is there?
All congealing together. So yeah. Right. I'm going to ask you straight away, how are the dogs? Because having got your copy of Ride or Die Trying on Monday, I've just smashed it this week because obviously I knew I was talking to you, and having your words, you know, reading them all week, I've just been steeped in your life basically. And the dogs have obviously, you know, been such a massive part of the book as well. And I got to the chapter last night, the second to last chapter, where, you know, you talk about poor Bev and Joyce having put to sleep. It absolutely crushed me. It absolutely, I was just like,
reading the audio for it, I couldn't, and you can hear it in my voice.
Yeah,
I was, and I didn't want to stop because it was the pure raw emotion. I'll even start crying about it now if I recall that particular day. Yeah. My dogs are my life, you know.
Absolutely.
They always have. Well, I've never had dogs all my life. When I was younger, I used to walk a little Westie for an old lady who lived down the corner because my parents wouldn't allow us to have dogs, because they were out of work all the time. So my love of dogs started from a very early age, and then horses, obviously.
Yep.
But I think having dogs because I have never wanted children. They're your children,
Yeah,
like
they're
everybody
family.
else. Yeah, they are your family, like everybody else. They're your fur babies. I don't like that expression particularly, but they are your babies, and you treat them just like family. They go everywhere with me. You know, my mum often, and my dad, when he was alive, used to say, "Can you not leave the dogs at home?" And I was like, "No, I can't."
No, they're like, I mean, it's like,
And I will leave them in a hot car when I go in the supermarket.
yeah. You know,
No,
I'll
I don't. I don't.
crack a window and they'll be okay. But like, so I mean, we've got 3 cats, 4 hens, and we're going. Well, I'm heading over to the UK next weekend if everything goes to plan to get ourselves a little cavapoo. So that'll be the first dog of this family. So
I hope you're rescuing it.
Well, the thing is, I knew you were going to ask me that, and because we've got a young family, the thing is, we've got a charity over here, MSPCA, Manx Trust. They do rescues, but as soon as one comes up, it's gone. So I know we could be going to places like Romania and all that, but for our first dog, we're going to get a bred
and
one.
Also with children as well, or whatever, you need a puppy as well. So it's very rare that puppies come up from rescue for rescue.
Yeah.
So,
and as we get older, do you know what I mean? As the kids get older, we're gonna obviously get rescue dogs as well. But I think just for our first one, we're gonna get this cavapoo. But so what I was going to say was, thank you, Paul. I was going to say, dogs seem to appear in every chapter, you know, of your life. What have they taught you about recovery?
You'll hear about it in the book. When I was in the depth of my addiction, I felt awful. You know, watching them, looking at me, thinking, "What the fuck is going on? What are you doing?" You know, from this effervescent, bubbly person who was there for them, who was walking them, who was being their father, playing with them, to becoming this kind of soulless, lifeless shell of a person, just lifting a glass to his mouth, or just lying in bed, falling asleep, getting up to feed them, you know, doing the bare minimum.
Yeah.
I felt absolutely awful, dreadful that I was letting them down. And, you know, I live for my dogs. Everybody lives for their family. And so, and it's something that I couldn't help. I wasn't in control of it. And that made it even worse. Even though I wanted to get better, even though I wanted to be there for them, it was just heart-wrenching to let myself get into that state time and time again.
There's the bit in the book where you say about you got home, I think it was from a stint in rehab or a drying out place, where you were normally expecting Bev to come over and yap and bark and all that, but she didn't. She came up and jumped up and put her arms around you. I mean, I was like, just give you a hug almost.
She put her paws on my shoulders, pulled my head into hers, and put her head next to my neck, and just didn't do anything. And I'm going to start crying again.
Sorry, man.
And it was just saying, please, daddy, get it right this time. Get it right. And oh my God, again, it's things like that. When you're in active addiction or you become sober, those moments that just make you think, I've got to get it right. I've got to get it right, you know? And and again, as you know, as an alcoholic, you relapse or go on unintentional benders, as I kind of call them. And so, it was just awful. I mean, and Bev was my first proper dog.
The one that you first got.
But I bought it as a gift to my ex. But she was, because I was at home all of the time, I was the disciplinarian. I was feeding them, you know, training them. I was known as strict daddy.
Yeah.
Whereas my ex was known as fun daddy.
Fun daddy, yeah. Well, let's go back, Paul. Like for the listeners that haven't yet read the book, tell us a little bit about, you know, young Paul's story.
I was born in Sunderland to my mum obviously mum and dad. Mum was a teacher. Dad was a mechanic. He owned his own business, working at a Shell. He had his own petrol station, and had a great growing up. Lovely holidays. Things were a bit tight financially. Everybody around the houses was known as aunt and uncle, and you kept your doors unlocked. It was idyllic, really. And then I went through school. I didn't particularly like school. Looking back, writing the book, it makes you reflect on certain things that come up. And I remember my mum saying, I used to go to school and I would come out crying, saying it was too noisy, things like that. Or if it got too noisy in the house, I'd used to pack a little case and go up to my Auntie Sheila's, say, I'm going up to my Auntie Sheila's for some peace. And
because you had 3 brothers, didn't you? So it was,
I had 3 brothers.
You
yes,
got 3 brothers,
three older brothers. Yes,
so it's a big household, noisy.
It was, it was fairly noisy. I mean, again, we all got along fairly well. Me and John, the next one up from me, who actually sadly passed away last year due to alcoholism.
Sorry to hear that.
We were fairly close, and then there was Richard and Simon, who were the older brothers. So it was great. And like I said, we used to go on wonderful holidays with our friends Sheila and Derek and their daughters Julie and Suzanne. But looking back, there was always kind of, I mean, I think it's the same nowadays with kids, when they go to restaurants or bars and things like that, when they're on holiday, say, oh, can I have a sip of your beer, or can I have a little bit of this or a little bit of that? And so that's basically how it started. I mean, you read in the book that I remember the first proper taste of alcohol was the chocolate liqueurs that my grandma had. And I remember biting into them and having that dark, crisp chocolate taste, and the taste of Cointreau and whiskey and cherry brandy and all that kind of thing.
You unlocked a memory for me, because, as I say, I was like, I do, when you were explaining it and you were talking about the trickle down the throat, or however you spoke about it, it was like, I did that. And I don't know what age it was. It must have been about 7 or 8. We're talking the 80s. And I don't know, I wouldn't have been my grandparents. It would have been a family party that we'd gone to, and me and my cousin had maybe found these, and we were just having like 1 or 2 or maybe 3. And you just unlocked that memory
the taste of it.
the party guy and be having a few listeners and all of that. But it sounds like from the book you were just kind of sober when you were doing that.
It's funny because my brother John, who I spoke about, who passed last year, he used to do the karaoke's, and he used to have a couple of pints when he was doing his job, and that was normal, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, a couple of pints is nothing,
30 years ago. Then he'd work, do his job, pack up, then maybe have a pint or something, and then he'd drive locally home. And then to unwind, because I suppose it's like being a performer, because he used to sing as well. He used to sing in bars and clubs and stuff like that. Then so to unwind, he would have another 3-4 pints. And that kind of built up and up and up. I mean, again, since learning about ADHD, we've also learned that it's kind of, a psychiatrist told me that it's not hereditary or genetic, but I think that he, even though he wasn't diagnosed, I think he had ADHD, and my father had ADHD as well. So that's what he used to do just to unwind. And then that kind of built up. So he would go home and have to start off a bottle of wine, and then it built up on his days off, and then he would, and it just gradually, like it did with me, grow and grow and grow and grow and become kind of from a functioning alcoholic to then alcohol dependent.
Full blown, yeah.
And then, and then it got so bad with him. I mean, by this time I'd moved to London, so I didn't see, the extent of how bad it got. But he is basically, his livers and his pancreas was fucked. He got type 2 diabetes, and it went downhill from then on. So
yeah. I mean, it's
sad. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Alcohol, no matter whatever, is poison, and it's a killer.
The thing is, and they're finding this out all the time, in the 6 years that I've been sober, well, nearly coming up in August, it's like there's no safe level. They've admitted that there's no safe level. It's one of the, if not the biggest killer of males between, I think, 18 and 40. It's like, and it's linked to 7 types of cancer, over 200 diseases. And this is not even talking about the fights, the domestic abuse, or the car accidents that are caused by it. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, but it's still this fun like thing where if you say you're not drinking anymore, people go, why? It's like,
and why do you think it is that? Is it because the government make too much money off alcohol? Because it's basically a Class A drug. It's the biggest killer.
It's the biggest killer. There's more people die from alcoholism, and alcohol doesn't have to be alcoholism, just from alcohol, than all of the drugs next to it put together. So like you're talking about heroin, crack, cocaine, all the rest of it, they're not killing as many people as alcohol.
No.
Okay, smoking is way above that, and we've admitted, and we're doing the best we can to get smoking outlawed. I mean, I smoked up until about 5 years ago, but do you know what I mean? It's not the same thing because we know that it's bad, but most of the people that are out there drinking Friday, Saturday, Sunday nights, whatever, they're not aware of it. And if you try and tell them, they're like, yeah, but that's later on in life. I've known people that I went to rehab with that are sadly no longer with us. Some of them were in their early 30s and they've ended up with cirrhosis. And it's like that, that was always a thing to me that I thought it's going to happen to me when I'm in my 60s and 70s, I've had people on here that have had liver transplants but still, and the thing is what you're saying about the government, they're in a deficit. But like we all think, because they're making so much money, the amount of money that they have to pummel into the NHS in order to rectify the alcohol problems, they're in a deficit. So they're not making any money from it. No. But
I suppose I don't think a change will ever come in our lifetime, but wherever you go, alcohol's readily available. It's like having a Coke dealer on the corner of your street. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. You wouldn't walk past a Coke dealer and go, not today, thanks. Do you know what I mean? Now you would, but at one point you wouldn't. You go, just gives a little half a bag or something.
Go on then, I'll get it on tick or whatever.
But
do you know what I mean?
Wherever you go to pay for your petrol, to do a little, it's just in your face all the time. And even now, when I go to supermarkets, I think, that nice bottle of rosé on this beautiful summer hot day. What harm can it do? And I've really got to stop and think. Do you know what? I value my life too much because I know if I do that, it could turn, and I could that fuck it button could be switched, and I'm right back to square one again.
Well, it's always play the tape forward. So it's like, you think, on a beautiful day, what's that going to give me? But then it's like, what's going to happen Friday, Saturday, Sunday? Where am I going to be Monday? And for me, like if I went out and got like a bottle of rosé tonight, by Saturday, I'd be on a bottle of vodka. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And it's like, but do I want to do that? So as much as, and I'm nearly 6 years in, those thoughts have gone. So how long are you now? You 4 years now?
No, I am on a journey, and so I don't count the days. I used to set a timer on my phone, and I stopped doing that because, yes, in one way it's encouraging, but at the same time, I'm human.
Yeah,
and I know that if I tell myself I can't do something, it doesn't work for me. And trust me, I've tried. I've gone completely sober. I've gone. The longest I've gone was for 274 days.
Sure.
It was my niece's wedding last July, actually. So I allowed myself a couple of glasses of champagne.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I now know is if I'm in a good place and I'm mentally basically in a good place,
Mm-hmm.
I would allow myself to have a glass of champagne. And now I know
Yeah.
that goes against all of the AA rules and complete sobriety, but and again, I've done this before in the past. I've gone, I'll be all right with a couple of glasses. I'll be all right having a drink here. I'll be all right having a drink there. But I
Mm-hmm.
know for a fact it can take you back to where you started.
Oh yeah,
So
and
I don't.
everyone's different. You know,
They are.
everyone is different,
Yeah.
and for me, yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm in such a good place, and I've done all the work in myself because before I was the depression and my life fulfillment because I was doing jobs that I wasn't fulfilled in, and I was like, where am I going with my life? I wasn't doing anything creative, and yeah, that's all been kind of rectified. You know, I'm in a really, really good place in my life, so I
Yeah.
probably could go out and have a beer or two tonight, but
Yeah.
you know what? I
You're not
just don't.
going to. No.
I'm not
And you
going to
know
do
what?
it.
That's
But
that's
yeah.
another thing as well. I think that, I could have a drink tonight. In fact, I'll be completely transparent with you.
Mm-hmm.
And last September, I had a campaign going on against animal testing.
Sure.
And it was a huge build up to it. And there was a lot of pressure and there was a lot of things going on. And it went really well. I was really happy with how it went. And it was also my birthday. So I went out with some friends and decided, let's celebrate. So I had some champagnes.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a stupid idea. And I regret it because I ended up drinking for a week afterwards. I pulled myself out of it.
Yeah.
But I didn't kick myself too hard for it because I'm human.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I now know that is a risk that I would take if I decided to do that. But now I feel like I don't really want to have a drink. And what is the point of doing that? Because it's just.
Well, my thoughts are, you know, I know you're saying like, oh, you walk to Lidl, there's another plug for them. We don't have one over here, which is bloody annoying. We've literally got Tesco. We've got none of them.
Right. No.
So it's frustrating, but that was my go-to when I lived in Hull. And like the thing is, we always think, and we have these like rose-tinted glasses or rose-tinted glasses where we're like, oh, the sun's out, or there's a beautiful sunset, or all this. We think that that's going to add to the experience. When is it fuck? Like it's not going to do that at all. It's in fact, it's going to numb you to the experience because let's be honest, we're not going to have one glass. We're going to have, you know, a bottle, and that's going to make you a bit numb to the experience.
It's like when COVID came and the heat wave and there as well. You know, it drove a lot of people to drink.
Oh,
because there was bugger all else to do.
So many.
You know,
and because it was a lovely day, everyone was buying hot tubs and they were out in the garden. I was in absolute turmoil at that point. Like I got sober in the August of 2020. So for the first part of that summer when it was beautiful, I was living in a little bed sit. My family were over here. I was in a breakup with my ex and like her and this guy were getting me arrested. And there was all that going on. But I was just sat in my garden, just drinking wine and vodka, beer, whatever, trying to drink myself down, taper off and all that. And then I would do it for a couple of days and then I would go back to the vodka. So it was, but there's so many people that their drinking just ramped up because they were working from home. They were on Zoom meetings and
they weren't having to drive.
So the wine would come out and people were, there was memes saying like, get your coffee mug and put like a little tea bag tab over the top of it, sellotape that in it and fill it with wine or gin and you can pretend. And it was like, why are you encouraging people to do this? And now they've all got these issues.
I remember in one treatment center, there was a woman saying she used to fill her coffee cup with vodka. And again, and I think, you know, if you're sober or you're trying to be sober, then you have to be with somebody who supports that also. It's no good, you know, trying as hard as you can to remain sober, but then there's people around you who are drinking, who are not particularly supporting you. I mean, and you feel guilty because, you know, you want them to support you, but they can't because, you know, you feel like you're spoiling their fun, if you like.
Well, I was gonna ask you. There's a point in the book where you come out of one of the rehabs, and then you go straight on holiday for 2 weeks to Barbados, and the first group of people that were the friends that were coming out, you've put in the book, they were heavy drinkers, and it's like my ex at the time when I was struggling. And I was saying, right, I'm going to stay off it for a couple of weeks, and then I would be okay. But she didn't want to admit in her own head that I had a problem, because it would mean she wasn't a big drinker, but it would mean that there wouldn't be alcohol in the house. Like, we'd have to outlaw it. So do you think that, and I'm not going to say that your ex was enabling you at all, but do you think that they were maybe not wanting to admit, like, you've been to rehab, now he can drink with us moderately? Do you think that was the thing that was going on?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about being an alcoholic and living with an alcoholic. That there's that scene from the royal family where she says she's a vegetarian. Well, she says, "Can't she have a little bit of wafer thin ham?" And it's not. It's like, I think my ex wrote about it, and he said, his mum used to say, "Well, at least he can have a Baileys, can't he?" And it's the misunderstanding. It's, you can't just have a Baileys. You can't
have anything.
Have one Baileys. You can't have anything.
Yeah.
So and like I said, I wouldn't say. Well, you have to have a supportive partner, and you have to also be very strong, because if that particular partner isn't, that supportive, then you have to be strong within yourself and go, well, I'm not doing it for them, I'm doing it for me. And I think some people have partners as well who enjoy the fun side, or the crazy side of the pissed person, or the chaos that it brings when they're inebriated, or they're doing this, because there's no doubt about it. When I'm pissed, I'm funny as fuck. And that's one. I mean, I'd like to think that I'm funny when I'm not pissed. But it gives you that, it
gives you that confidence, and
exactly. And you do stupid things that just make people laugh. And that's what I like to do. I just like to make people laugh.
I mean, what was his name on Friends? Did they call him Fun Bobby? And then we worked out a few episodes later that he was basically an alcoholic, and then he gave up drinking, and they were all like, "Oh, he's boring. Right. He's boring as fuck. Like, let's get rid of him." And it's like,
I never saw that.
So it's, I mean, it's like when I read that bit in the book, my heart broke, because I thought, oh, now he's having to. But from my point of view, and from an alcoholic's point of view, it's like, you're kind of like, oh, okay, maybe I can drink normally. I've done that, done my thing, so I'm going to be okay. But it's just that turmoil, and you think, I'll just have one or two, and I'll. But as you and I know, like, once we have one or two, it's all bets are off. So when do you think? Like, obviously, you've moved down to London, and you've started working. Well, I mean, you went to the drama centre as well, and brush paths with famous addicts in recovery. Tom Hardy and Russell Brand. And it's like, so then you went from there, and you were then working in that bar. And when do you think the alcohol really started ramping up for you? Because obviously you've gone from Sunderland, where you've been working in karaoke, and then suddenly in London, and it's when do you think it really started ramping up?
Well, when I was in London, when I was at drama college, obviously as a student, you drink. You go to the pub every night after your classes. But again, I'd never saw it as a problem, and I never used drugs or alcohol within my creative process. And then I got in with the crowd, and they knew like various people who worked in the media entertainment industry. So I was going to various parties, and like the best bars, like the Atlantic Bar, Titanic, 10 Rooms, all those kind of things, all the trendy places, and just partying, and I was in my late 20s, and hangovers weren't really a thing then, or if they were, you'd just kind of bang on with it the next day, or nurse it for a little bit, and then look forward to the evening when you could have a drink again. And then I obviously while trying, I got signed by an agent, as you read in the book, and that went tits up because I think he thought I was straight. There was a little bit of homophobia, which there was quite a lot of back then.
Yeah.
So then I kind of went into the hospitality industry and started working in a bar called Beach Blanket Babylon, which I think a few of you will be familiar with.
Yeah.
It's quite a notorious bar. I don't know about you, but in this, I can't drink a lot of water. I don't know what it is, but I don't drink half as much water as I used to, as you should do.
Yeah.
My parents, they didn't used to drink a lot of water, but obviously in this weather, you should keep hydrated. But I just can't do it for some reason, and you just end up going to the toilet all the time.
Did he say we need to drink like 2 liters of water a day or something?
I know, it's ridiculous.
I mean, I have a bottle that I take to work with me. Some days I finish it, some days I don't, and then I'll have some cups of tea when I get home. But yeah, it's mad.
Yeah. So I've discovered these are called G Spot by Gillian Anderson, the new tropics.
G Spot,
and they come in 4 different flavors.
The Gillian Anderson, yeah.
Ginger and peppercorn.
Nice.
So I get those delivered.
Good. I'll check them out.
They're good. Yeah, they've got various things, and I don't know, but it'll just give us a little bit of in my mouth.
Yeah.
So what we were saying,
Beach Blanket Babylon, the triple B.
It was debauchery, man. It was friggin' debauchery. And,
sounds bad.
I mean, I was one of the managers. Well, I started off as a waiter to begin with.
Yeah.
And then just have a little cheeky line throughout your shift, and you'd get a load of cokeheads. And I remember one of the clients, he was a chef actually. I looked after him and his girlfriend very well, and instead of giving us a cash tip, he put a little wrap in my hand. I was like, well, nice, thank you very much. So I went and shared that with the rest of the guys. But everybody was on it.
Yeah, it's bar work, isn't it? I mean, I did lots of bar work, and it was like if you weren't drinking behind the bar, then what were you doing? Do you know what I mean? Because you were loosened up because you wanted to have fun with the clients coming in, the customers coming in. So it's.
I mean, there was that wasn't just one of the pubs that I worked in as well. I think there was probably about a period of 6 months where every day I did cocaine, and not a lot, but just like, somebody would give you a rap and you'd have a cheeky line or, a couple of cheeky lines and stuff like that. And then, so Beach Blanket Babylon was complete debauchery, which you'll read about in the book. I mean, I could write a whole new book about what went on at Beach Blanket Babylon, I could tell you. And then I went into another bar, which was on Portobello Road, just off Portobello Road, called Manor, and that was notorious. It was like one of these bars that everybody used to pile into when all the pubs closed. And obviously all the dealers used to get in there as well. So one of my mates knew how good I was at managing Beach Blanket Babylon and how efficient I was, because even though I was doing drugs, I kept a lid on it until the end of the shift. So I got headhunted to go and work at a place called Manor. And I kind of cleaned that up. I kind of got rid of all the, how can I say this, the bad drug dealers, and let in maybe 1, 2, or 3 of the good drug dealers who were kind of discreet.
The sophisticated ones,
Exactly.
Yeah. Not
and
the
good-looking one as well, who I fancied. Which he had a touch of the Sean Paul about him. Anyway, I've lost my trail of thought now. What was I saying about?
Well, you saying you were running the manor, and yeah.
And so, there was booze around constantly. And if I did have a particularly busy night on a Friday night, I'd kind of have drinks to wind down. And then that would be like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And then I'd be back at work again at 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, typing the menus up. Thinking, I feel like shit. So what would I do? I'd make myself a nice Bloody Mary, and it would just take the edge off. And
it's the best hair of the dog ever.
It is, yeah, without a doubt. Yeah. I mean, now I kind of, I don't know. I can't drink whiskey anymore.
Yeah,
I could not drink whiskey because I used to drink that out of a decanter on the top of this cabinet that we had. And then I used to fill it with cold tea to make sure that people, that it didn't look like it was going down. So that's one drink that I would never touch again. So yeah, and then espresso martinis as well. I went to New York to stay with a friend of mine, Etna, who I met at Beach Blanket
Yeah,
Babylon. A
because you
fabulous
almost you brought that over. I
lady.
mean, I don't
I
care what
did.
anyone else says.
I'd
You
like to
brought
think
that
I
to
was
the UK.
responsible for the
Yeah.
espresso martinis.
So I don't know whether to blame you or not, but yeah, okay, we'll go with that.
I really don't know. But when I came back, I introduced them to the menu at Beach Blanket Babylon, and then all of a sudden they're everywhere. Every bar you go into now do espresso
Oh,
martinis. But I still make the best espresso martinis. Even if it's not for myself, I do make the best espresso martinis.
Yeah. The thing going back to the Bloody Mary, I don't know if you've read William Porter's book, Alcohol Explained. Now, he says that when you're having the hair of the dog, so if you're feeling rough when you're drinking and the next day and you're feeling that absolute dog shit, you're like, as soon as you make that connection that a drink is going to sort you out, he says you're already on that slippery slope to alcoholism because your neural pathways are opening up and it's going, I know what to do. So I said to my wife, I said, have you ever had the hair of the dog? And she was like, no, like I've never even dreamt of doing that. Like if I feel like shit, I'm just not going to drink for a week or two. Whereas with me, it was like an early age, I was doing hair of the dog.
I was in Ibiza. I've been to Ibiza 11 times. Fuck me, I'm not going back there again. I nearly came back in a body bag once. And a friend of mine, he said, have half a lager. It kickstarts your liver. And as an alcoholic, you're thinking, oh, champion, that's all. That's just what I need. You take that as gospel.
Yeah,
so I'll be fine. As an alcoholic, anything to do with alcohol. Oh, let's go and have a Sunday lunch, or let's go and
Sunday,
just have
Sunday.
a couple Monday, and you take it as gospel, and that's what you do. And that's as an ADHD or an alcoholic, anything that relates to alcohol, you think I'm in.
Any reason, any
reason,
we will do it. We had I studied up in Aberdeen when I was 18, 19, and there was a pub there, and it was a rough old place. It was for the fishermen coming in and the oil riggers coming in, and it was called, there was two of them. There was one called the Schooner and one called the Criterion or the Crit. They were open from 6 a.m. So
nice.
Us being students, we're like, well, let's go down to the Crit for, So we're sat there, like, this is like late 90s, watching the Big Breakfast. That's on the telly. You've got some dancers with, little tassels and all that one corner. And we're just sat there drinking our Caffreys, which was like 6% or something. So we were like, this is cool.
It's 6 o'clock in the morning.
6 o'clock in the morning. Then we go to college. Yeah.
I remember a friend of mine would been up all night. We were lying in bed. We couldn't get to sleep. We were taking pills, ecstasy, and we just couldn't get to sleep. So I went out the shop, got some newspapers. Everything was freaking us out. So I thought, do you know what? Fuck this. We're not going to sleep. So we walked up to the local pub, who we knew the owners of, and the cleaners were there or something. And we went in, and I think it was about 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, and we started. Oh, come on! So we started doing Zambuca shots at 6 o'clock. No, not 6 o'clock in the morning. About 8, 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
it's crazy. I mean, you probably been up for nights and nights and nights doing God knows whatever. Drugs, alcohol.
But it's
just you just soldier on. Do you know what I mean?
It's almost like a badge of honor. It's like a badge of honor. If you can keep going for like 3, 4, 5 nights, whatever, and only having like an hour or two of sleep, if you ever even had that, it's like you're hardcore. You can do it, and that was always my thing. Like there was friends that would be like, oh, I'm not coming out tonight. But for me, it would be like, I'd go and find other people and just keep the party going, because I guess looking back, it was the noise in my head that I needed to quieten down. I didn't want to face that. I'm not, no, there's a lot of it in my family. I definitely don't think I've got it, but I just, it was everything else that I needed to shut out, because I was always feeling maybe unfulfilled in my life. And it was like, right, this is what I do. This is my thing. I'm a lush. I'm a party boy. Do you know what I mean? And I just, that was who it was.
It's your go-to, isn't it? Like
my identity.
Since being diagnosed with ADHD, when I was 50, so how long? Nearly 5 years ago. Looking back, it all made sense, because alcohol is your go-to remedy to release dopamine as a reward system, to blackout to whatever. That's the only thing that I knew to help me cope, give me more confidence going to functions, things like that, make me more chatty, whatever. And that was my go-to thing. And now, since
your medicine
being
almost.
diagnosed, and being diagnosed, and being on my own now in my own space, learning a lot about me and the neurodivergent brain, and it's just been a huge kind of, I don't like the word journey, but just a wake-up call, really.
Yeah.
And I think everybody now who is an alcoholic, I remember when I used to go to AA meetings, you'd hear over and over again about people having the washing machine brains, like the washing going round and round and tumbling around in the drum like your brain. And I would say to them now, I know it's difficult, but go and learn about ADHD or get an assessment if you can afford it. Because, I didn't pay for an ADHD assessment. I was with an addictions clinic, and I was sitting in the office with a psychiatrist, and he was going through another load of questions. I was just answering them, thinking, I filled out fucking hundreds of questionnaires over me time, and I thought, here we go. Anyway, I can't remember how I was in the office quite a long time, and he just said, well, you've got ADHD. And I didn't even know what it was. I hadn't heard of it. When I was younger, you were in the naughty class or in the remedial class, or you were a naughty boy, or, whatever. And so it wasn't until, and I had so much shit going on in my life at the time. It was round about the time of the driving incident and the divorce, and I had a dog that Bev was, her illness was, she had liver problems, and I was having to find a house to live. I was going through the courts. Everything was going on, and then I banged my head, and I had chronic subdural hematoma, so I was going to have holes drilled into my head for the blood to be drained out. So I didn't have a fucking clue what I was doing. And so it wasn't until I got into my own home and my safe space here that I started to learn about it. And but the one thing I will say is, and I'm so proud that I did, that it was the beginning of 2022. I knew I drank on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day and the day after, perhaps, to celebrate, because that's what you do.
Yeah.
But I knew that everything was just gonna implode if I carried on drinking, and there was no way, there was absolutely no fucking way I would have survived or handled it or managed it if I'd have carried on drinking.
Yeah.
So again, I was very fortunate in the fact that I sold my car, and I paid for a rehabilitation a treatment centre, and I checked myself into this place in Oxford, which I spent a month there. Yeah. But as you'll read in the book, that the court case was kind of 2 weeks in. But the first week into that, I felt the pressure in my head again. So I was rushed to the John Ratcliffe Hospital, and another fucking holes drilled in my head. So another, and that in itself, that brain operation affects your memory and affects your thinking and on all the rest of it. And I had all of this going on. But anyway, I stayed sober.
Yeah, and if someone listening to this, thinks alcohol might be masking undiagnosed ADHD, what signs should they look for? Have you kind of? I was going to say, if someone listening to this thinks that alcohol might be for them masking ADHD, like it was possibly for you, because you didn't get diagnosed until you were in 50. Do you think that once you got that diagnosis, was it like tick, 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 all of these things from my past? So what signs would you say to someone listening to this to look for?
Nobody's ever asked me that before. Why are you drinking? Why are you drinking to enjoy? Are you drinking to enjoy it, or are you drinking to cope with it? Are you thinking, oh, I'm going out tonight and I need to be confident. Do I need a drink? Or, why are you picking up that drink? Is it, are you going to bed at night and think, oh, I won't sleep tonight unless I have a bottle of wine, or because I know I won't sleep? Ask yourself, why are you picking up that drink? Is it to enjoy it or to do whatever you need to do? I think I've answered that quite well.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely, that sounds exactly right.
That's what I would probably do. I would drink to preempt
to do
what
something
I was
else.
To do something else. Yeah.
You're not actually just going out and then it's an afterthought. It's like, oh, I'm out. Oh yeah, I'll have a drink. It's like you're already thinking, I'm going out. I'm going to have a drink. I'm going to do this. Yeah.
Yeah. And we all know people who drink.
Absolutely.
They don't have good quality sleep anyway.
Yeah, it ruins the sleep. People think I used to think it knocked me out, and it didn't. It made me pass out, it made me black out.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I wasn't getting any.
Especially with these cocktails in the bars, they're full of fucking sugar, aren't they? So your liver's working bloody overtime when you're passed out in bed. Your liver's going, help! Get me out of here.
Well, it was back in the day. We'd go to the tunnel in Glasgow, and they were doing vodka. Red Bull had just come out, so it was vodka Red Bull for like £1. And there was that, and then we were doing sniff on top of that. It was like our poor hearts were just absolutely bouncing out our chest. Yeah. It's insane.
Yeah. I've never liked Red Bull for some reason.
Oh, I can't stand it.
But I tell you what, I'm not going to promote it, but Monster, the white ones, the 0 calories. Yeah. I don't mind. I don't take medication for my ADHD, but I've got loads of vitamins and supplements, lion's mane, ashwagandha, blah, blah, blah. I've got my shelves just full of shit that I take. Yeah. And I try, I do cold therapy and stuff and kind of I don't do meditation because with an ADHD brain, it just won't stop. Yeah. Or whoever's talking in the meditation video, I think, oh, that voice is getting on me tits. So I just can't do it. So I find it hard to relax. But I forgot what I was going to say now. I can't remember. I go off on a tangent. I can't.
No. It's absolutely fine. And I was going to say that the cold water therapy. People are going to be sick of me saying this because I keep saying to people that everyone that comes on the podcast doing cold water therapy, and I haven't started doing it yet. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to start doing it soon. I mean, obviously it's easy to go in the sea now because it's warmer, but
I'd love to live by the sea. I really would.
Well, we're on an island, so we're just. I mean, I'm like 750 meters from the sea.
I love ice baths, and wherever I go, if there's an ice bath, I'm in it, or I'll do cryo chamber.
Oh yeah.
Where I used to live in London, there was a place on Westbourne Grove, and it was called the Podgy Clinic. Bit of a plug there, but it's fucking expensive. And you stand in there and it's like minus 28 degrees for 3 minutes. Yeah. And you come out feeling so elated. I actually got frostbite on my tits once because they didn't give us the pads to cover the things. I got frostbite on my nipples. But it's really good. But the cold water therapy is really good. And I bought one of these cheap round tubs. I set it up in my garage, filled it with water. I've got a freezer next to it because I keep frozen raw food for the dogs in there. So I put ice packs in there. And then I bought one of these portable steam saunas as well because I love a steam. Good for you. It's good for your heart.
It's great for the skin and all that, yeah.
So I set up the ice bath and the sauna. So I'd come home from walking the dogs, turn the steam thing on. It was like this portable kettle that you'd stick into the steam to make it hot. I'd go in there for about 10-15 minutes, get really hot, and then plunge into the ice bath. And I used to love it, and again, it would set you up for at least the morning anyway, the feeling you got from it. Anyway, so this is typical ADHD. I was doing that for a while, not every day, but the water started to turn green. I didn't piss in it, but it went green. And so I cleaned it all out, filled it up with water again, was really looking forward to doing it the next day. And for some reason, I mustn't have put the plug into the bath properly. So the water had all ran out of it. So I thought, well, at least I'll have a steam. So I turned the steam thing on, stepped into the sauna, stepped onto the kettle, scalded me fucking foot. And I thought, right, that's it. I'm done with that. So, that's now collecting cobwebs somewhere else. And that's another thing with ADHD. You set yourself up for these things, and something will happen. It's like I explained in the book as well. When I was so motivated one day and was on my laptop to write my book, and then bloody Randy was like, take me out again. So I did, and then I came crashing off my bike and then smacked on the road. And
absolutely, and you're like, I wish I'd just written the book.
Sets you back. And I'm sure a lot of ADHD people do relate to being set back just for the most stupidest things, accident prone or whatever. And it just puts you off your stride.
Going back to the book, at the heart of the book, you know, in my opinion, is just a beautiful love story steeped in tragedy. How was it writing this and kind of bringing back all those kind of memories and things? Was it therapeutic or?
It was very therapeutic. And, you know, ride or die, I thought that, I mean, I talk about a few other ride or dies in the book. I thought my ex was my ride or die.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, I nearly died trying. Fortunately, I didn't. Yeah. But, you know, I really enjoyed, I really loved my time in the beginning with my ex, and thought we would have been together forever. But as time went on, and then COVID came around, that the kind of dynamics changed. And I think while I was with him, there were more opportunities to kind of, because even though I had a property development business and I was running a farm and I was looking after our personal stuff and in his personal life, there was a lot of responsibility, but it wasn't as if I had to go to a 9-to-5 job or kind of be responsible. I was my own boss basically, and didn't have any kind of financial worries and things like that. So it was all good. But so and I write about it in the book. 2015 was a particularly bad year. You know, I damaged me back quite badly. There was loads of things going on. I got arrested. Well, I didn't get arrested particularly, but I got taken off the plane by the police in Dubai. And it was just one thing after another. And then when I damaged me back, I started to self-medicate again with the alcohol. And I think that's when I became from like being a functioning alcoholic to becoming alcohol dependent.
Because you stopped going out on the road as well, didn't you, with your ex? You know, you were kind of doing that, and then it was like
I was his driver and security, all that kind of thing. And so, and I couldn't sit in the car for long enough, so I was just at home with the dogs.
So you're just like left to your own devices.
On a morning, I wasn't drunk, so I'd be getting up, driving along the road to my neighbour's house. They've got a massive estate, so I'd just drive around, let the dogs run. Then I'd go to the shop, stock up for the day, and then, and then just lie at home in pain, numbing out the pain. And in just doing the bare minimal. That's when I felt bad that I was just doing the bare minimal for the dogs.
Because alcohol does that. You can take as many painkillers as you want, but alcohol does numb pain massively. It's
especially with sciatica, because it was sciatica as well. Nothing kills that pain. I mean, I ended up having injections in my back to kill it. But even then, whoever's suffered from sciatica will know exactly how excruciating that pain is, and nothing else touches the sides than knocking yourself out with having a drink.
Or you just forget, and you're
mad.
And
so,
sorry, go on.
What? Going back to your question. So, what was the question? It was.
Well, it was. How was it writing the book and kind of bringing up old memories and things?
It was good. It was nice, and as the books kind of got closer to completion, my ex knew I was writing a book and got it into their heads that it was going to be a tell-all book.
Like a revenge
about them,
story,
and it's not. It wasn't. No. That's not me. I could have said a lot of things, In fact, I had to take a lot of things out of the book, not just about him, but about because I'm quite an open book, and I speak my mind. So yeah, there was, it was difficult also. So it was very anxiety inducing.
Yeah,
because I had the book through lawyers to make sure that there was nothing in there that was said bad about anybody. Because again, that's not me.
yeah.
I mean,
and there's a lot of people in the book that people know of, so you don't want to be kind of damaging anything like that. But you know what? Like, I didn't take anything from the book. There's no revenge story in there. There's nothing but love and, I guess, tragedy towards the end. My other thing was that, it sounds like you definitely, although you had all the trappings of, money and all that, but you were doing your own business as well. But you put a lot of your stuff on hold, your acting and things like that, to build up your ex's kind of brand and fame and things like that, and do you think that was maybe some resentment came out of that, and then that added to your drinking as well? Or
definitely,
yeah.
Again, while I supported him and had his back, as you'll read, on many occasions, I felt unappreciated.
Yeah,
if you like
Mr. Nobody. Sometimes you said, I'm not being.
There was an article in something online, and they said that I felt like a nobody, and people's comments were, "Well, you are a nobody. You are a nobody. I am a nobody. I'm known for being his partner." And that hurts,
Of course,
that really hurts.
Because let's be honest, Paul,
because I am somebody. I was somebody before I met them, and I am somebody now. And
exactly,
and they don't, I sacrificed quite a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, but I wasn't doing anything.
I think a lot of people that maybe have these thoughts and they go, "Oh, they're just that person's alcoholic ex-husband or whatever." But actually, the two of you got together before they were superstar. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were building their kind of career up, but they were still living in a small little flat. And so it wasn't like you were gold digging or anything like that.
No,
I'm not saying anyone had said that, but it was like you then put your life on hold in order to build that brand.
And that's my character as well. Yeah. I love to help other people. That's the way my father was. I always put other people's needs over and above my own. And that's what I loved to do. I loved the fact that I was part of this, even though sometimes, especially towards the end, I didn't feel part of it. I felt like dismissed,
pushed out,
overlooked, and kind of thing. But I mean, it was once mentioned to me that I just wanted to become famous, and I didn't. No. I trained as an actor because I loved the profession. I wanted to become a comedy actor, and I do stuff on Instagram, and it's something that I'm getting back into now. But I never wanted to become famous. I just wanted to do something that I loved.
Yeah, to entertain people, to make people laugh. Yeah.
And when I first met my ex, I thought we were a good double act. And there was one point I thought, do you know, actually, it would be good if we could work together and do something together and write something together, do little funny sketches and stuff like that. But it was made clear from the onset that, that wasn't going to be, which I was absolutely fine with.
But some of your jokes were taken and used, were they not? I think you mentioned that.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Like, again, that's a funny thing you've said, Paul. I'm going to use that.
I know, yes. Yeah.
And it's got to be hard, that. Do you know what I mean? Because you're seeing it like almost like just taking off in front of you. And at first you're kind of you're going with it. But then, as you said, latterly, you're kind of feeling pushed out and not kind of included in as much. And, I'm going to go on to kind of your rock bottom moment as you talk about at the beginning of the book and then at the end. And, for me, you can tell us about it in a minute, but the way you lead up to that and that you're being at home and, the breakup is kind of imminent, but you're still in the house and your ex is off traveling at shows and stuff. and you've been going around the neighbours' houses and asking for, like, if they've got wine or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you see on the security cam police car at the gates, but they don't ever come in.
Yeah.
And then you go off and you get basically pulled over by the police when you drive into town.
Yeah.
Now, in my head, and I don't know, because you never mentioned it in the book, my head, and this is maybe my alcoholic kind of paranoid brain coming out, do you think that one of the neighbours who maybe didn't give you any wine or anything like that has maybe said, listen, Paul's maybe a bit worse for wear, he's out and about, can you go and check on him? And then they've maybe watched you and waited for you to come out, and then they've thought, I'm going to get him. I think you were set up, basically.
Yes, possibly.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole scenario is just weird.
Yeah.
And, you know, as it says in the book, you know, when the police report came out that they said I nearly hit a woman with a pram, I was mortified by that. I'd never hit a woman with a pram. I'd never been out in the car to hit a woman with a pram before I went to the shops that day. Yeah. I don't know. And they gave the wrong color. They gave the wrong vehicle registration number. Yeah. I was just thinking, what on earth, who's somebody's got it in for me somewhere, or because I don't think they were concerned particularly about me.
And so the calibration of the you know, they were doing some dodgy things when they were doing the breathalyzer test down the station, and then it wasn't calibrated right, but then that was all just kind of dismissed and forgotten about.
Again, I paid, I sold my car and paid for this hotshot lawyer to kind of do the best job that they could to go into every little detail. I mean, I wasn't trying to get me off the hook. I just wanted, because they led me to believe that there was flaws in the police, what the police were doing, and the fact that the machine hadn't calibrated as fast as it could, and even though I was that high, apparently with alcohol, one lawyer said I should either be dead or in a coma. I was like, well, I was standing there watching, knowing everything that was going on that day. I wasn't.
Yeah, because you hadn't had the drink for about 6 hours. So
no.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I was just thinking, what is somebody setting me up? Is this? It was like being in a bloody, a really shit like horror movie.
Yeah.
So there was loads of things that just weren't investigated, and I think once the press got hold of it, which again I didn't want, my ex didn't want, but once that video came out, which I've posted on social media, I look absolutely horrendous. You know, I'm dry in the mouth, my hair's all over the place. I was in my usual asylum chic dress with my pajamas on. I just nipped out to get some like hobnobs and something to eat. And you know, and it all just went, you know. And so I think my lawyers thought, well, we're just going to have to go along with it. But then they foolishly told me to plead not guilty to give them more time to look into these things. But then they didn't. Yeah. So it was a complete fuck up.
And then you got that horrible
and I felt like I was drowning.
I
felt like I was drowning. I went back, I was in rehab, and I had a word with a psychiatrist, and the stuff that the psychiatrist was reading out was unbelievable. They said that I'd snuck vodka into the treatment center, and I was thinking, where the fuck they've got this bullshit from? You know,
they're after you because I mean, and it could be just that they want more tabloid headlines and all that crap as well. And so
I literally felt like I was drowning, and I was just trying to keep my head above water with all these holes in from the operations from the brain, with all of this stuff going on.
Yeah.
But
well, you
stayed sober.
You describe it in the book. You say, wading through my addiction like the muddy tracks on the farm, slipping and sliding. Yeah. I'm not saying it verbatim, but do you know what? When I read that, I was like, that's exactly how it is. That because you feel like you're just stuck in this mire and muck, and every step you do, you're just tripping over yourself
to a style, and you think the next field's going to be better, but it's not.
It's even worse. And we keep digging, we keep digging, we keep digging, and we keep digging. And it's, you know, you describe the kind of prison short time you were in prison, almost minute by minute. What surprised you most about yourself in those 48 hours?
How resilient I am.
Yeah.
How like Whitney Houston come to mind. I didn't know my own strength, and I crashed down, but I did not, and I stumbled, but I did not crumble. But she fucking did, didn't she? Because she ended up killing herself.
Yeah. Tragic.
I just think how resilient I am, and how much strength that I've got.
Yeah.
And how proud I should be of myself, that I crashed down and I tumbled, but I did not crumble.
You got through it.
And again, looking back, I just think, how the fuck did I get through those months?
Yeah.
And I did. And I'm very proud of myself. And a lot of my close friends are around me, are very close. And a lot of my close friends around me were very instrumental in that as well. So I'm forever grateful for them.
No, you know, it's an absolutely amazing book story, and I loved every line, every word, every chapter. So, and I love the titles of the chapters as well. You know, like from Morecambe and Wise to what is it? What's the Martha Wainwright?
Morecambe on fucking unwise.
Fucking unwise with the thing in Soho, but what's the Martha Wainwright song called? Bloody motherfucking bastard, is it? Yeah,
you bloody motherfucking asshole.
Bloody motherfucking asshole.
The wedding song. You know, I had a few titles for the book. One was going to be called Between the Lines. So people read between the lines. When they read the book, they can take more from it. And also Between the Lines of Cocaine. Yeah. But I didn't go with that. Another one was called Hear Me Out, because I just wanted my voice to be heard. Like, listen to me. This is my, you know, this is the truth. This is my story. This is how I... what I've been dealing with. Hear me out, please. Throughout, no, not just throughout the marriage, but throughout everything. Just listen to me, please.
Which people are starting to, and maybe that's the second one. Maybe that's the next book.
Yeah. I'm definitely doing a second one. And again, with writing the book, I had a great ghostwriter. She was fantastic, and would sit for sessions, not for too long, because I'd be off doing this, that, and the other. But like, I'd be recording things while I was out with the dogs. There was diaries from treatment centres. There was, my mum came up and we were going through stories with her. And she, you know, it was like basically putting a massive jigsaw out in front of her. And together we just put the pieces in bit by bit. And she did an absolutely fantastic job. And a lot of it was written by me, but she captured my voice brilliantly. And I tell you what I found really fucking hard was reading the audio book.
So when is go on, sorry, I was gonna say
the audio book's out in August,
right? But
I found that really hard because being ADHD, I don't read a lot of books. In fact, I don't read any books. And again, when I chose this book, I chose the font very well and the paper very well. So actually people who have got ADHD have said, that it's the first book that they've read for a long time. So
it's the first book I've read for a long time.
Is it? Well done,
because I listen to Audible when I'm at work, you know, when I'm gardening. So I get through books like there's no tomorrow. But obviously, you know, I was like, when's the Audible version coming out? Obviously August. So I got it on Monday and I've just smashed it since then. So, you know, I'm very proud of myself to have done that. But it was nice to read a book again, you know? And obviously I am writing my own book at the moment, not to plug that, but I'm doing a lot of it on dictaphone. So I'm kind of doing it into my phone while I'm out, and then I'll get home and then transcribe it and then write it up, you know? So
and what I was saying is that, obviously the book was written and then I had to verbalize it. And so actually reading it in your head and then saying the actual words out loud was really hard. And there was stuff going on in my personal life as well, and with lawyers and shit like that. My anxiety was through the bloody roof, I tell you. So I don't think I've done the audio book justice. But anyway.
Did you have to audition to do that? Because I hear that some people have to audition.
What, audition for my own job?
Yeah, some people do. Some people have to audition. There was one guy on another podcast, and it wasn't a memoir, but he'd wrote it, and he wanted to do the audio, and he didn't get the job They hired someone else to do it.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
No,
because
I sat myself down on the casting couch, wanked myself off, and said, "Right, you've got the job."
Love it. Yeah. Right.
No. I knew I wanted to read the book
Of
myself
course.
because I'm a bloody actor. But again, I don't. I listened to it when I first got it through. I thought, I could have said that differently. I could have put, the chapter about Bev. You can hear the emotion, and and so the producer was like, "Can you not just do that little again?" And I kept having to stop. It was so hard. I did it over 4 days.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, when I'm listening to an autobiography, I need to listen to the person that's lived that life, that's wrote those words, that's speaking it. I don't want someone else speaking it, unless obviously that person isn't with us anymore and then it's been done into an audible version now.
Exactly, yeah. DJ Fat Tony's books are great because you can hear him, and he's you can hear him. It's him reading the books, and I love his voice, and it's just entertaining, and he's funny, and he puts a lot into it.
I don't know if Dave Grohl's book, what's it called? Storyteller. It's an amazing Audible book as well because he is a storyteller and he's got some amazing stories from obviously Nirvana days and all that. Yeah. Paul, how are you going? How's your energy? We've got a couple of quick fire questions if you've got time, mate.
My energy's great, actually. Yeah.
Nice.
It's cooled down and I've come alive.
Down. We're getting into the evening. Yeah. Biggest regret?
Not being not being aware about the ADHD thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, it happened by chance getting the diagnosis, but my biggest regret is maybe not being diagnosed earlier, so I could have been kinder to myself and understood it a little bit better and maybe explained to my partners about it. I don't think they'd have been fully understanding of it or cared, but I think I would like to have known about it so I could have been a lot gentler on myself and kinder to myself.
Absolutely. And we're all just learning about it now because back when we were in school, it wasn't even a thing. I mean, it was called the twitchy, what did they call it? The twitchy boy syndrome in America. That's what they called it. Someone sitting in the classroom twitching away. Your biggest achievement?
I think writing this book, without a doubt.
Okay, because
I've always had a creative brain, and I've always come up with. I think I lost myself in the relationship, and I've diminished myself, but I've always been very creative, and I've always come up with ideas, as you'll read in the book, and they've never come to fruition.
Yeah.
And I didn't know about the ADHD, and I've always thought, why I'm a failure? Why can't I do it? But this book has been my huge achievement for me, and I'm very, very proud of it.
Thank you so much for giving up your time to come on the podcast, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure getting to know you and obviously reading your book and hearing your story.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure. And I'm not really familiar with doing podcasts and stuff like that, but I've felt so relaxed, and it's been really a good experience. So thanks.
Thank you for saying that. Yeah, I do appreciate that because I don't want it to be like an interrogation or anything like that. It's essentially just two old drunks having a chat.
I know I've got some more podcasts coming up, and I'm not very good at talking about myself, but I've really enjoyed it today, and I'm glad that I hope the listeners can take something away and buy the fucking book.
And buy the fucking book, yeah. Cheers, Paul. Speak to you soon, mate.
The profits are going to dog charities as well.
Yeah, which is amazing. So yeah, thank you for doing that. It's awesome. Yeah.
Right,
enjoy the rest of your evening, Paul, and speak to you soon, mate. Cheers.
Yeah, all the best. Bye, kid.
Thank you, Paul. Just an absolute pleasure kind of listening to your story after reading the book as well. So, while it was still fresh in my mind, I felt like I'd lived through your kind of life with you, and then to have a chat with you, to sit down and chat was just, amazing. So thank you for giving up your time to come on and kind of share your story again, because I know it must have been hard for to relive it and to talk about it again. It takes a lot of courage to write this book, especially, when his life and ex-partner were in the media spotlight. It's so tough. Many times in the conversation, I think you can hear Paul almost on the verge of tears. And I do feel for him, because he's been through the ringer. But as he said himself, he found out how resilient he was and is. And this is the story across the board with addicts. And we find this inner strength that we didn't know we had. I also love what he said about asking yourself why you're picking up that drink, not whether you're enjoying it. Why are you drinking? To enjoy it or drinking to do something, to sleep, to feel confident, to cope with the pain? That question is sharper than any breathalyzer. So just have a think, and if you know someone that's in that situation, send this episode over to them. And the book, that ending, I'm not going to tell you what happens because you need to read it, but I will say this, it's one of the most honest things I've read in a very long time. And I think it's going to help a lot of people feel less alone. That's the point. Paul, thank you, mate, for the book, for this conversation, and for being such an open and generous guest. Ride or Die Trying is in the show notes. Go and get it. As always, guys, listen for the similarities. Take care of yourself. Stay safe, stay sober, and stay supportive. See you next week. Love you all. Peace. Bye-bye.